Pizza
It threw me.
Pizza to pasta.
Excuse me.
Mr. Rossi, is something wrong? Ah, me! Something Mr. DeRusso said just seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavallo! At times like that, you don't know what I have to capo after you, believe me? And I speak from personal experience. Personal experience? That is what I said! That is enough, Peppino. There is no to say more. The truth is, the night before, we put the Red-Headed League plan into action. I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, eh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo? Bruises, you say? Ah, you wanna see my fantastical bruises? That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. Goddamn. What the two are? I should show you, or I don't. I will show you, or I don't. You do. Now. Undress for the courtroom. Aloha! If everybody wants to see, then I do it!
Wait, are we actually telling him to undress?
Yes. Echo, you see, it's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough in... That's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we were talking about here. You have my word. Yes, what are your opinions, counsel?
I don't want to delve into these people's cheeks.
About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter? Yes, it's very important. Mr. De Rossi, I'm gonna have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Aye, capo, you see, everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Ugh. Very well, you will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi. See, if you really want to know.
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by... Si, a big collare made from the leather. A leather collar? A leather collar! Is this true, Mr. DeRusso? What? We had the panade at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from the time with the very strong chain. A strong chain, you say? And you put that around your friend's neck? I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg a little better, though. I would not have tried to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people the equal is the capo here's motto, eh? It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden. The capo is tough, but the capo is rough. Can you please shut up now? I shouldn't have done it. So the following morning, when you released the inspector, he had the red ring around his neck just like me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. Now you know, the capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, he's not so bad. Okay, well... Now I need to prove that it wasn't Peppino. Or not Peppino. It wasn't Gregson. I think I just do the picture, right?
Objection.
So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was only a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was, only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, scoundrel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still very clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what we tell you, we'll say this from the beginning, many times. Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph. He is someone different to the man we killed the captives at night. Order! 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 It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all! Yeah, I know.
Objection.
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. We also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in the possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruto. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious. Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruto. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. De Rossi? Sus! Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day could not have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. Shut up! On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right! We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from the pillar to a post with the dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? So who was that false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witness encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? Goodness me! Isn't that one of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today? A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by. What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses! Is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? Ah? See, this man is not for the Red League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, eh, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order! Order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately! Ah, boy. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And an identical to that of the witness beside him.
And what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, ain't it?
Really? Really? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you.
Something about that inspector again. Well, I'll tell you, you got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it.
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We are in a big trouble, eh, Capo? That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. The man who claimed to be inspector that day was definitely not this man. He's right, see, you think we don't forget these grand lips, huh?
I'll never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I'm no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off on skies with a face like this?
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony.
That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... for a brief cross-examination, I think, Counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruto. Dots.
Hold it!
How can you be so sure? What if he was wearing a wig? So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never before seen the lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck, and it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar. Jesus. Mon Dieu, with your words, is it like you try to wring my neck? It does look very much like my neck, though, eh? No, this is a... Jesus. No, this is a birthmark, lad. Biggest lips in London and neck to die for. Aye, they broke them both when they made me. For the first time in my life. I feel lucky to have been born with the red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oui, Seka. I swear it by the flames of my hair. Some fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry, either. That is what I am saying! For some reason it makes me want to eat, how does Fabian call it? An eclair! You know? I've never seen a hair as black as yours before, either! Likewise, I'd never seen red-haired like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it's a nationality trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, that I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I never left.
Oofa! That isn't a problem, see? So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip.
How many times do you want me to say it, eh?
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few rodheads that can pass me. Just between us, I even got a sandwich to cough up for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows?
Well, as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. In any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Hey! Fuck you want? Mr. DeRusso! Oui, can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? That's in French. It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something. To be the to be the red quarters of your head. Wow. To be the headquarters of your red-headed league, yes? I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip, with a housing agent? Oui. He had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms.
No, you're mistaken, chum. I never left Fresno Street, mate, like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else, someone with the same face.
No, the capos right, I remember it too! He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes.
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
You got close enough to see the name written on the papers?
No, this man, he lies to tell you so he has no name. But in fact his name is Hugh Boone, huh?
Oh, fuck me!
What?
I'm gonna need to wait for you to come back, because a lot more has happened than I thought would.
Alright, what all happened?
Okay, so remember Gossip?
Gossip?
This guy?
How he's got the red mark on his neck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in an earlier testimony, we found out that one of the Redhead League members, he tied Peppino up with a dog collar, a leather collar, and a chain, and it left that red mark on his neck. And we're like, wait a second, doesn't Gossip have a red mark on his neck? And we're like, Gossip, were you the guy that they imprisoned before?
Is that why you have a fat lip?
Is that the reason why you have the red mark on your neck? And he's like, no. And they're like, and we asked the Redhead League, have you guys ever seen this guy before? And they're like, no. Wait a second. He was on Lime Street buying a house with banknotes, and he's like, ah. And Peppino's like, I saw the name on the banknotes. His name was Hugh Boone. The guy who owns the apartment where we found Gregson's body.
So that's Gossip's name?
So that's his name. Also, you know, that's not the only thing that's sus. I mean, I feel like him having the inspection papers, which we haven't proven that it was him, kind of feels like he would have only been able to get the inspection papers by Inspector Gregson. You know?
Oh, yeah. So you think he was the one they caught?
I
They were
think
pretending to be...
I think that at the moment he's probably the killer, but I also know that there's probably more to this case.
I think he may be working with the killer unknowingly.
Yeah, maybe. No!
This was given to me by my girlfriend.
I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. Oh, I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed.
Too bad. You're in a court of law.
It is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes.
Why? What?
God damn it!
So now you gotta prove why we need to meddle into his personal affairs?
Yeah.
The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections. Assuming no objections?
I have an objection! I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Obviously. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. I'm yelling a lot, so I need more water. Jesus.
Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asugi?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
I'm stupid! In what capacity?
Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. Scheiße. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh?
So your real name is Hugh Boone?
Just between us. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a fallen down backstreet townhouse.
You?
Once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Aye, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Hey, if either of us is a vulgar, he's not a mean. Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before?
Like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If and I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along.
I read the room where that fellow was found, it's true, for what difference it makes.
Okay, that basically changes the entire fucking trial now, because now this guy goes up to his own fucking room. God damn it. Can we just say that this guy's the killer already? Jesus.
Hold it!
Is his room?
You know, the room where the fucking forged evidence and the body was found.
No, don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
What? And how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to.
No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room?
Dots? Well, obviously I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
Seems to me that Mr. Boone would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Delete him from existence. Okay, what do we have then? You're cute.
When we're done with this, we should probably look for hotel rooms and get it.
Okay, yep, I understand.
Hung hotel rooms to cuddle in. Just cuddling platonically.
I'm actually not 100% sure now. Because it's this versus evidence that we just don't have. So, if he owns the room... Does that mean the picture's his? I just can't think of any other point where we'd be able to use this, so...
Objection!
Yeah.
Hold it!
I'll press these other statements just so we can say that I've covered all my bases.
No, not at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us this is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along.
I don't think so.
You may be right.
Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore.
Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. There's nothing I can do but flick me lip.
Looks like I'm not gonna get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof.
You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that.
I'm just not sure.
Hold it!
Maybe you could say with a mustache or a beard to cover up that lip.
Oh, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I?
Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, Counsel. Ah, sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me there. Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course. You're right. I mean, he had a mustache. He probably didn't wear it. You could barely have hidden a crumb in the mustache of that size. And anyways, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all. Si, the capo's right. He was clean-shaven. Certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim.
Oh, it does and it is.
Okay, I'm still missing something then. Did I press those statements?
Hold it!
Yes.
Hold it!
this guy... I think this guy is secretly Mr. Vigil. But I have no way of proving that. Or nor does it seem relevant to the case right now.
Objection!
I think so.
Oh, it's loading. Fat lip.